isn't it? Just like Zen, the word Zen Buddhism, Zen comes from the word Dhyan. So focus is required if you want to be materially successful, and focus is also similarly required if you want to be spiritually successful. Basically now people are very, very distracted. Their mind is all over the place. We say the advancement of civilization is like this. First we were nowhere, and then we advanced and we got somewhere, and then we invented technology and now we're everywhere. But because we're always on our devices, we're always elsewhere, and therefore practically we're nowhere. And that perhaps is the story of the world we're living in today, that sometimes our mind is in 50 million places and every other place except the place where we are right now. Have you ever watched one of those movies where the video and the audio is out of sync? Aren't they annoying? Isn't it? It's so annoying to watch a video like that. But our life is sometimes like that. We're out of sync, either in the past or in the future, somewhere in the world, except where we are actually at present. So therefore, Arjuna says to Krishna that, Krishna, I don't know if it's going to be possible for me. Krishna says you have to control your mind. And Krishna says you can control your mind in the world, but if you don't want to control your mind in the world, then you'll have to go to the forest and become a tyagi. That's what you're proposing. So therefore, let me now tell you how difficult that is. This is called teaching by impossibility. If you want to convince someone to do something, then you give them all the arguments why they should do it. But if they still don't listen, then you have to show them how the alternative is impossible. And then they're like, okay, I'll do it then. Just like Prabhupada wanted one devotee to become a temple president. Don't do it. It's such a hard thing when you're in a leadership position. No one wants to do it. So Srila Prabhupada knew this person wouldn't want to do it. So he called the person, he said, call him. So someone went for him, he said, Prabhupada is calling you. Oh no, he's going to ask me something hard. So he was bracing himself. Prabhupada was thinking, how will I convince him to be temple president? So he came in the room, he was thinking, it's going to be hard, it's going to be hard. So Prabhupada said, I want you to do one service. Said, oh no, it's coming. He said, I want you to take sannyas. Oh my God, this is worse than I thought. Sannyas. He goes, I was coming out of my body, my subtle body was like revolving on the... And then Prabhupada looked at him and he said, okay, you don't have to take sannyas, just be temple president. Temple president, anything! I'll do anything, no sannyas. So this is teaching by impossibility. We show the alternative. Okay, then I'll do this one. So Arjuna doesn't want to stay in the world. So Krishna says, okay, you don't want to stay in the world? You're saying it's too hard? Let's look at the alternative then. So then Krishna says you have to become a Stanga yogi. Now Krishna is going to explain this, but before we even get to Ashtanga yoga, we have to understand how disturbed our mind is. Today, live in this room, we are going to scan someone's mind. Who would like to have a free MRI of their mind done? Prabhu, you're at the front. This is a dangerous place to sit. So remember this in a Hare Krishna program. Your name, Prabhu?
Janmastami Das.
Janmastami Das! Oh, wow. Janmastami Prabhu, can we scan your mind? Possible?
But you won't.
Start chanting. Can you stand up? Don't worry, I won't embarrass you too much. Give him a round of applause. So what I'm going to do... going to do, no, you have to look at the screen. You don't want to see everyone's face. No, stand here, but look at the screen. Yeah, stand here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a line, and I want you to tell me where along the line you would say your mind generally is. And everyone else, you can also do this, okay? So, on the continuum of your mind being more in a mode of comparing, criticizing, competing, or are you more on the side of being appreciative, encouraging to others? Where would you say generally you are most of the time? Where along this line?
Mostly on that.
You put your hand there, where you want to say.
Mostly on that line.
I want to see. Put your hand on the line. Just put it again. I need to see. Okay. About here? Like here?
Yes.
Okay. My hand doesn't lie. Okay, good. Alright, next one. Generally, does your mind look for more short term? What's the short term benefit? Or do you think your mind is more like, what's the long term? Where are you along this, generally? Prabhu is very humble, huh? Would you say your mind is generally distracted and many-branched, or attentive and focused?
Definitely.
Okay, yeah. It's all coming out now. Would you say generally in your mind you're controlled by fear, or are you inspired by dreams, adventurous?
50-50.
Well, tell me.
I would be inspired by dreams.
Here? Like here?
Inspired by
Okay,
dreams.
here. Alright, very good. Or usually overthinking and procrastinating, or analyze, articulate, and make a course of action. Will you ask your wife?
My wife is not here.
Oh, she's not here. Alright, somewhere here, like this? Fair?
Yeah.
Fair? And do you generally think your mind is very rigid? Once it has a plan, you can't move? Or flexible? Okay, life has changed, let's go with the plan. Where would you say? Depends, generally. Are you quite rigid, or are you more flexible?
Kind of flexible.
Okay, good. Give Janmastami Prabhu a round of applause. Dear friends, this is Janmastami Prabhu's MRI of his mind.
Oh, it's like a demon.
Now for a small fee I can give you my consultation. Decode your mind. For some of us, the mind is in order. Unfortunately not for you. For some of us, the mind is on the border.
What?
For some of us, the mind is out of order. I hope you're chanting your rounds, We're doing this in a funny way, but you can take a picture of this and you can actually see the health of your own mind. Imagine if you could change your mental state from here and move it towards here. Imagine what the quality of your life would be like. Wouldn't it be amazing? Krishna in the Gita is actually teaching Arjuna how to shift his own mental state. The World Health Organization now says that the biggest problem in the world in the next coming decade and beyond will be mental health. Because we don't know how to control our own mind, isn't it? So therefore, mind, very difficult. M stands for magnify. The mind always makes things bigger than they are. I stands for invent. The mind sees one thing and then invents a whole story. N stands for negative. Mind is always meditating what will go wrong, what I did wrong, why they are wrong, 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 wrong. And D stands for distraction. So this is the state of the mind. And Krishna says, Arjuna, I'm giving you a very practical way, but if you don't want to control your mind through karma yoga, then you have to do Ashtanga. Like now Kumbh Mela is going on. IIT Baba. So Ashtanga, if you go to Kumbh Mela, I went 12 years ago, if you go to Kumbh Mela, you can see so many Ashtanga yogis, very powerful. Some of them buried under the earth for weeks. One Ashtanga yogi in the tree, sitting in the tree by himself for years. So everyone was crowded around him. So we said, what's happening? He said, he's been in the tree for 4 years. And he hasn't said one word. So if you don't speak for 4 years, all the husbands are like that. If you don't speak a word for 4 years, then you get a siddhi called Satyavak. And this means as soon as you say something, definitely it will happen. So everyone is crowding around. Give me this, blessing, blessing, Satyavak. So in Kumbh Mela you can see all kind of Ashtanga yogis. In the midday sun, I saw one Ashtanga yogi in the midday sun. Understand, Indian sun. In the middle of 5 fires, meditating. So these Ashtanga yogis, they are still present. So Krishna is saying, you want to become like that? What is the process? Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. You want to get to dhyan, you want to control the mind, then you have to go through all of this. Modern day yoga just takes this. They just take asana and pranayam, little bit of that, and they say this is yoga. It's only a small part. So Krishna is telling Arjuna the whole system. You have to go to the forest, you have to wear a deer skin, you have to focus your eyes on the tip of your nose. Go on, try it now. Go on, try. Focus on the tip of your nose. I just want to see what it looks like. A room full of people concentrating on the tip of the nose. It's very difficult, no? Celibacy, you have to be away from everyone. So when Arjuna hears this, Chanchalam himana Krishna pramati balabhadridam tashaham nigraham manye vayuriva sudushkalam. Says Krishna, you think I'm going to be able to go to the forest? Chanchalam, my mind is so unsteady. Pramati balabhadridam, stubborn, obstinate, very difficult to control. Krishna Vayuriva Sudushkaram, to control my mind more difficult than to control the wind. I don't think Krishna, I can go to the forest and control my mind. Krishna says, therefore I told you. Be a karma yogi. Just be the temple president. Don't take sannyas. And then Krishna looks at Arjuna. Asamsayam mahabaho manodur nigraham chalam abhyasena tu konteya vairagena chagriyate. Krishna says it's difficult to control the mind, but it's possible. Abhyas and vairagya. These are the 2 keys. If you want to control your mind, then what you have to do is abhyas, practice, and vairagya, ignore. You have to become expert in the art of knowing when to ignore the mind and when to remold the mind. Because basically what happens is, as the day goes by, the mind is constantly moving up and down. See? 1 a.m. asleep, 4 a.m., 5 a.m., alarm clock goes off. Oh my God! Okay, then we finally accept, I'm awake, I'm moving. 6 o'clock, chanting, 6 rounds done. 15, 16! Up, then it goes down. Relax. Then you start driving to work. Meet the boss! Oh no! Calm down. Then you carry on, you know. Argument! Calm down. Wife calls! So like this, you understand, the mind is going up and down the whole day, isn't it? This one you don't need MRI. You see it every single day. So the idea is, what Krishna is saying is, when the mind is spiking, then in this time, you have to practice vairagya. Just don't take the mind so seriously. The mind goes crazy sometimes. It's okay. It will become calm in time. Don't do anything silly. And then, in times when the mind is calm, see these times, then what you do is you do abhyas. Abhyas means, what is abhyas? That means chanting, reading, reflecting. Basically, spiritual practices. And Krishna says, if you spend enough time doing spiritual practices, and then in the day when your mind is spiking, you learn just to observe the mind instead of identifying with the mind, then what happens is, over time, the psychology of your mind will change. You see? Basically what happens is, imagine this is a kid playing a computer game. Like FIFA or something. Right? Then, oh no, he scored a goal, and he's so into it, like into the computer game. But the amazing thing is that the parents are looking and they're just kind of laughing, because they just know that's just a computer game. So he has a certain perspective of life, but they have a deeper perspective of life. But it's said that the yogi, they have even a deeper perspective of life than that. See, this person is acting out of emotionality. But they are seeing everything out of emotionality, but they're also seeing rationality. But the spiritualists, they are seeing emotionality, rationality, and spirituality. So just like they laugh at him saying, why is he taking it so serious? It's just a computer game. The spiritual person sees the whole world and says, you know what, the whole world is a computer game. The whole world is virtual reality. Why do people take it so seriously? They are identifying with the mind, and the devotee, a yogi, is able to detach themselves from the mind. And so, in this whole chapter, if you read closely, Krishna is actually teaching Arjuna how to remold his own mind. And if you learn this art, remember that mind scan, if you make the shift, then your experience of life will be transformed. And so, Krishna teaches us, is the mind the root of consciousness? Does consciousness come from the mind? No. So what is the mind? The root. Or if you're in America, route. Create a life that looks good on the outside. Is that the goal of life? Create a life that feels good on the inside. In other words, what's the point of having all the things to show under the sun to the whole world if our inner world is full of chaos? Don't just create a beautiful external world. Craft a beautiful mind. Maybe that is more important. Don't identify with the mind. Instead, just identify the mind. And stop the mind from straying away. Can you ever stop the mind from straying away? No, Krishna says, Yato yato nischalati manaschanchalamastinam. Krishna says, stop the mind from staying away. Whenever the mind strays away, it doesn't have to stay away. Because what you can do is you can bring the mind back under the control of the self. Therefore Krishna says, Yato yato nischalati manaschanchalamastinam tatastato niyamyetat atmanyeva vasamnayet. From wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering nature, bring it back. Okay? So like this, Krishna tells Arjuna, you have to do karma yoga, you have to stay in the world, and it's hard because you're living with a mind. But if you try to control that mind through Ashtanga yoga, see you later, alligator, as they say. It's not going to work, it's too hard, it's difficult. Therefore, you just need to know how to remold the mind. And there is spiritual technology that can help you to do that. So, we've only reached the 6th chapter of the Gita, but just see how much wisdom Krishna has shared with Arjuna. You know how long it took to speak the Bhagavad Gita? About 45 minutes, right? Everyone always says 45 minutes. I don't know where they got that from. I've never actually read that, but I'm sure it's somewhere. So if the Gita took 45 minutes to speak, then 6 chapters probably took about 15 minutes. Just look at how much Krishna has said in 15 minutes. It's enough. In 15 minutes, Krishna has said so much about life. This is the power of Krishna's words. And there are so many other things to explore, but we don't have more time today. And also, my purpose here is not just to overload you with so much information, but to leave you with some things to think about. So now what we will do is we'll do a bit of question and answer. Does that sound okay? Yeah, you have some questions. So I'd like to invite Ghanesham Prabhu, please come.
He will also share. And no, you can sit here. No, come. Can you reach? Can you come through there?
So, how are we doing this? There are some online questions also.
Maybe we can take this out.
There are some online questions also, is it? Okay, so Achutakesha, right? Yeah, are you gonna field the questions, or how do we do this?
Hare Krishna, everyone. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll be opening up a QR code. I'll show everybody how it works. Basically, with your phones, you can use your phones now, but just keep them on silent, please. Scan the QR code, type in your question, and then a moderator will then read out the questions. I'll be reading them out to Maharaj, and Maharaj will be listening to them, just so we can answer as many questions as we can efficiently, and also make sure that nobody misses out. I think we're getting it set up.
So maybe while you're doing that, we can just go like here, to give some live opportunity also. All right, so yes, questions and answers. This is a great way to try to make the philosophy more practical and to hone into some of your perhaps challenges or maybe things that are a little confusing. So would anyone like to begin with a question? All right, yes.
Yeah. Okay, I think Matthew and then.
Hi Krishna, thank you for the wonderful class. My question is about mind. So, like Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita to bring it back. If the mind wanders, bring it back. But for me, while I'm chanting, my mind goes everywhere. So I try to bring it back, and it again goes. And at one point, I'm just tired to bring it back again and again. So like how to have that patience that one day it will, my mind will maybe help me in my chanting and everything. So how to have this patience.
Ramesham Prabhu, we are tired.
Keshava Maharaj, whatever you inspire me to speak, I will speak. Mistakes are all mine. Whatever good that comes out, it's because of the inspiration of Maharaj. I think it's not just your mind that behaves that way. In fact, sometimes between devotees, when we start to say about our background, how we came to Krishna consciousness, if you watch sometimes devotees, how they try very hard to put themselves down. They would say, I'm very fallen. Oh, you don't know how fallen I was. Oh, you don't know how more fallen I was. So we're all in the same boat. However, I can repeat again from what my Guru Maharaj said. He said, if somebody says, I feel sleepy when I am chanting, it is great progress. Because the very first time when somebody taught us how to chant, we were holding and we were a little scared to chant. We didn't even know, am I doing it right? So from that position of anxiety, we have come to a position wherein we are feeling very relaxed, so much so that we are falling asleep. So he said that's a great progress. Imagine if somebody said there is a time bomb here. Nobody will sleep. But then if somebody says, okay, there's going to be a lunch, again nobody sleeps. But the whole point here is, in this all struggle, we come to a position of being stable. I give this example always. How many of you have this experience of feeling sleepy during class? Now, if you're sitting and attending the class, sometimes you'll fight, you'll struggle. Somehow, eyelids would close, again you'll fight it, leave it open. Again it will close, but in this whole process, it will actually take a micro nap, and suddenly you'll start to feel fresh. How many of you have that experience? So that's exactly how, when we start to chant also, initially we struggle, we fight, but then when it comes to a position when, just like with that micro sleep, during the process of fighting, we also manage to take rest, but then we have also conquered sleep. Same way it looks like, we are almost losing the battle, but just when we think we have lost the battle, Krishna will pull us out. The second half of this answer we'll hear from Maharaj.
No, I think that was wonderful. Thank you for sharing. I think we'll try to give shorter answers because I'm sure there's a lot of questions. So, yes, who would like to go next?
Sorry about.
Thank you, Maharaj, for the class. Maharaj, you are defining about success definition is wrong, which is causing the problem. Sometimes we take, even in spiritually, we define this is, if I do this is successful in spiritual. Sometimes, many times that is also maybe go wrong. How do you identify, are we really defining spiritually successful, right?
Yeah, thank you. That's such a good point. Yeah, sometimes we redefine success and we know success is spiritual, but in spiritual life we also bring in a materialistic mentality. One time Srila Prabhupada said, my mysticism was that I brought the spiritual world into the material world by creating these temples. But your mysticism is you brought the material world back into the spiritual world. Because even in our community, sometimes the way we relate to each other is very material. Yes, we are Krishna conscious, but then we lack generosity, we lack kindness, we lack humanity, we lack tolerance. So, we live in a world where we've been defined by numbers, isn't it? Your percentage in a test, your power in a ranking, your popularity on Instagram, your profit in your bank balance, all numbers. We're always measuring people, measuring ourselves by numbers. Einstein said, not everything that counts, not everything that can be counted counts. And sometimes the things that can't be counted count for more. There's only one measure of spiritual success, and that's purity. There's only one measure of spiritual success, and that's humility. There's only one measure of success, and that humility, that purity brings about love. Anyone who has love, they are spiritually successful. And everyone else is a work in progress. So when we ask ourselves, am I spiritually successful? It's not based on how much you donate. It's not based on how much of a position you have. It's not based on how popular you are in the movement. None of that defines spiritual success. Spiritual success is when you can chant one name of Krishna and experience one genuine teardrop of love fall from your eye. Then you can say, I'm successful. So, we're waiting for that one name. That one name of Krishna that we can chant in pure love. You've got to chant a lot of names to get to that one name. So let us remember that. That's success. Alright. Is it here or there? Okay, we'll go back there and then we'll come to you, Chita. Yes. Mataji at the back.
So as they say,
Should turn it on.
turn it on. I'm loud enough.
Yeah, you can shout and then we'll repeat it.
Yeah. So as they say, there's very little difference between a genius and madness, you know. So according to the chart of yours, what's that tiny difference between overthinking and analyzing?
Oh, okay. Nice question.
Swamiji prefers sannyasi right now.
So what's the difference between overthinking and analyzing well? What's the difference between genuinely introspecting and overthinking something? There will be a few ways in which you can understand what's the difference. First difference is that in overthinking there is no call to action at the end of it all. Isn't it? Have you ever met like two devotees come together and then they talk, oh GBC this, ISKCON problems, the temple's like this, and after 3 hours of discussing, anyway, what's for lunch? So okay, it's so much you thought, but then what did it amount to? So overthinking means no call to action. Analyzing and introspecting means after all of your thinking you realize this is what I have to do. Make sense? Another difference between overthinking and analyzing is overthinking is just doing gymnastics in your mind. But analyzing means let us bring in the wisdom of the scriptures. Let us bring in the wisdom of the great saints. Let me see all of my thoughts and ideas and let's see what they can add to help me upgrade my thinking. So in overthinking, you're just using your own limited thoughts. But in analyzing, you're bringing in a powerful lens through which to see your thoughts. Make sense? And another difference between overthinking and analyzing is that when we overthink, generally what's happening is we are being negative. We are being limiting. We are actually meditating on everything that will go wrong. Generally, you'll find that when one is overthinking, it's negative. it's stagnation. But when one is actually analyzing, introspecting deeply, then what will happen is it will be creative thinking. It will be progressive thinking. It will be thinking in which we find solutions. But if you find yourself just going round and round in a circle with no solution, and it's making you feel more and more depressed, then that's overthinking. So like this, there's a difference. So some people say, anyway, most people don't think at all. And then a small percentage overthink. And then very few will actually think, introspect. So that's what Krishna is teaching Arjuna how to do. Is that okay? All right.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Sorry. Okay, so we've got a number of questions that have been submitted online. So we'll be going through them quickly as well. Just so that we're all sort of aware, when you do scan the QR code, just click on messages and then just type your question there, just in case you're very confused. The first question is, how do we not get disturbed by devotees put into trouble due to political situations like that of Bangladesh, or devotees in war-torn areas where we think ISKCON as a family?
How to not be disturbed. We should be disturbed, definitely. When devotees asked Prabhupada, why did Arjuna cry after losing Abhimanyu, despite having heard the Bhagavad Gita in its entirety? Doesn't Arjuna know that he's not the body, but the soul? Prabhupada says, devotees are in knowledge. That doesn't mean they should be deprived of emotions altogether. Prabhupada went on to say, yes, Arjuna was momentarily disturbed. But what did he do right after that? In the entire Kurukshetra war, he inflicted maximum damage on that day. So rather than getting bogged down by apparent reversals in life, Arjuna increased his service for Krishna. So in this situation, like Bangladesh, over the years we have seen similar situations in other countries as well. So definitely we should be disturbed and we should do whatever we can at all levels. Political level, humanitarian level, spiritual level. So devotees around the world, they do kirtans, they do some demonstrations also in some countries. You will see outside embassies, they appeal to the political leaders. And in this way, through multiple channels, we need to do, but in a Vaishnava way.
Perfect.
The next question is, my mind is fully concentrated and stable when I'm playing games or watching videos. But when I'm chanting or reading, it's the complete opposite. How can I concentrate on reading and chanting like when I'm playing and watching?
Wow. So I'm going to relate this to another question that someone once asked me. Someone once said, Krishna wants us to lose. I said, why? He said, because Krishna made all the bad habits easy. And he made all the good habits hard. Did you really have to work hard to get addicted to chocolate? I've been trying for years to get addicted to chocolate, but I just can't control my mind. So he said, Krishna wants us to lose because he made all the easy things, he made all the good things hard, and he made all the the bad things easy. Good argument, no? So, Srila Prabhupada in his books uses a very special word, inclination. Have you heard this word? Inclination. Do you know what incline is? Do you know what an incline is? You don't know what an incline is. Who knows what an incline is? It's a slope, isn't it? So imagine, stand up for a second. Just hold this mic to my, just hold it. Just stand here. I'm just checking if you're controlling your mind. Okay, so imagine there's an incline like this. And then I pour some water. So if I pour water, then where's the water going to go? Down, this way, right? To the right hand, left hand side, your left. So, but imagine if I change the inclination like this, then the same water is going to go in the other direction. So right now, what's happening in our consciousness is that our consciousness is wrongly inclined. Therefore, when it comes to focusing on bad things, focusing on the wrong things, focusing on material things, it comes very easy to us. And we think it's so hard to focus on Krishna. But what happens is over time, through spiritual practice, you actually reawaken your original incline. And then, what to speak of focusing on Krishna, you won't be able to forget Krishna. Right? When Uddhav came to... Alright. You could have been there a long time. We speak for a long time. Oh, save you. When Uddhav came to Vrindavan, then Uddhavji said to the gopis, don't worry, Krishna, he said, if you meditate on him in your heart, then you can remember him. The gopis looked at him like, what are you talking about? The problem is not that we can't remember Krishna. The problem is that we can't get him out of our mind. So in the beginning, it's hard to remember Krishna, isn't it? When you put your hand in a bead bag. One devotee said, my mind during japa time is like a horror movie. It's like that, huh? So it's very difficult in the beginning because we're changing the incline. It takes some hard work there. But gradually what happens is it becomes more and more effortless. And therefore, then you go to Vrindavan. Some of you have been to Vrindavan, no? So you go to Vrindavan and they had underground bhajan kutirs. And the Goswamis in those bhajan kutirs, they begin chanting Nidrahara vihara kadi vichito chatyanta dino chayo. He said that they became so absorbed in chanting that they forgot to eat. Sometimes they even forgot to sleep. Wow. Can you imagine if you get so absorbed in something that you forget to sleep? So Krishna consciousness is our original consciousness. It just needs to be reawakened. And on that journey you have to fight a little bit, isn't it? Just like, so morning japa time is difficult. Like, sometimes what happens is, we have japa time in the temple. So at the mala, oftentimes guests come at japa time. So on one particular day, a guest came. So nobody was speaking to him. So it's a little like, you come in japa time, everyone's like, Prabhu, I got to do my rounds, So no one spoke to the new person. So I thought, let me go and speak to him. So I went to him and I spoke. So he was looking around. He said, what's everyone doing? I said, we're chanting. Our process is simple. Chant and be happy. So then he said, look around. So I started looking around. Another devotee was like ready for his sleeping bag. Another devotee was going around Tulsi at like 100 miles per hour. For the first time in my life, I saw the temple room through the eyes of this person. He said, you guys say chant and be happy. These guys need to go in the mental asylum. And I said, whoa. chant, struggle, and then be happy. So it's a little struggle, it's a fight. You have to fight the mind. It's not so easy. So in the beginning then people just give up. No, it's not doing anything, chanting is not doing anything for me, it's too hard, my mind it doesn't work for me. But then, dear devotee, you will have to live with that mind for 24 hours. Do you want to struggle with that mind for 2 hours just for some years and then eventually change it? Or do you want to live with that mind for 24 hours for the rest of your life? The choice is yours. Alright?
The next question is, sometimes there are a lot of stressful situations and things are not working out. In that situation, how do we practice to bring the mind back to spirituality? An example is especially when your health struggles.
Sometimes, with an exclamation. All the time. The world is designed to give us trouble. Dukale Mashashvatam. But that's just to understand the situation. Radhanath Maharaj says that this world is designed to give us trouble, but we don't necessarily need to suffer. And in that context, Maharaj says, when he was asked this question, he gives an example that if you see a puddle of water on the street, after a good night rain, even a little breeze can actually make the water wobble. But no matter how heavy storm comes, no matter how fast the wind blows, the ocean is still peaceful. And the reason is, it is very deep. So Maharaj says, if in normal times, if we put our effort, just like they say, the best time to find a new job is not when you realize they're going to sack you. The best time to find a job is when you get good name in the company. Then it gives you the bargaining power and you can make a choice what job you want to go for next. So similarly, the best time to strengthen our mind is during normal days. Then when the war time comes, when stressful situation comes, it becomes very easy for us to take shelter of the strength that comes from that sadhana. But unfortunately, because we are so used to doing everything last minute, right from our childhood days, university days, we still unfortunately carry the same mental makeup when we deal with real life situations. But when we start to practice Krishna consciousness, at least let me do one thing right in my life. That was my conviction. When I started, I was 25 years, I didn't have much. Sometimes I get asked, how did you come to Krishna consciousness? I was just suffering with depression for 2 years, that's all. There's no esoteric reason. So it was easy for me to appreciate when we chant how much it is actually relieving. And all of us have that experience, what Krishna consciousness is capable of doing, even though so imperfectly. How much more is awaiting for us if we do it with bit more love, bit more taste, bit more awareness. Thank you.
Yes. All right, while you get your mic on, anyone in the audience? Yes, Prabhu? Gaurav?
Am I loud enough? Yes, mic there. Krishna Maharaj, please accept my obeisances, all with Srila Prabhupada. My question is that I have been following your schedule on your website since last 1 month. Well, since September, since you told me you are coming to Australia. It's been so crazy, like how do you manage to travel and then still stay so balanced? And it doesn't look that you are going to Melbourne in 2 days and then other place, Brisbane, this, that. Because when I travel for a week, then I have to be on bed for next 1 month.
Thank you so much. I think all of us in our life, we all have austerities. All of you are in the world and you have so many responsibilities, and you also have your own challenges, isn't it? The grass is always greener on the other side. Or sometimes we think someone else has it harder than us. In one sense, material world means there'll always be some challenge. And material world means there's always some sacrifice that we have to make. But whatever small sacrifice we make, it purifies our heart. It allows us to serve. Personally, I think I have a really good life. It's a pretty easy life, actually. Sometimes I wake up in the morning and I think Krishna's so kind. He knew I couldn't balance so many things, so he just gave me actually a very wonderful life. So I don't think I perceive it like that. Well, traveling a little bit. Airports are nice. I really like airports because you can learn a lot at airports. Airports are interesting places because there's no other place in the world where you find all these people who have nothing in common and who are so different to each other, all in one place. So sometimes I tell them, drive me to the airport early, and then I just sit in the airport lounge or something, and I just look at all the people. And we learn so many lessons, actually. It was so nice, actually. Recently I was in an airport. Where was that? Maybe somewhere in Africa. Or maybe Istanbul. I was in Istanbul airport, Turkey. And the airport was packed, so there was nowhere to sit. Anyway, then there was a Jewish man and his son. There's an Orthodox Jew. They have the cap and the locks and everything. So the airport was packed, the lounge was packed, and he was looking for a place where he could sit. And there was nowhere to sit. And then finally he spotted one seat. So I was watching the whole thing. He was with his son. So he was walking towards the seat, and then as he got closer, he saw there was a Muslim lady in a burqa on the seat next to him. So you could see there was that moment like, should I, should I not? Finally, he decided to sit down. So I was watching them. So this Jewish man, he sat down, Orthodox Jew. And then there was this lady in the burqa. So you could see like they sat down and it was very awkward, like next to each other. But the amazing thing is, the Jewish man had another Jewish boy with his cap. And this Mataji, this Muslim Mataji, had another daughter in a burqa. Mini versions. And so I was watching them, and these two, they were so awkward. And then within 10 seconds, this Muslim girl and this Jewish boy, they started playing with each other. They started like dancing around and playing and like mucking around with each other. And it was so beautiful because I realized we build so many barriers as we grow up, so much awkwardness between each other. But look at these children, they're so pure, they're so innocent, they look beyond all of that and they just connect with each other on a deeper level than just what they're wearing, And I thought, what is this, grown-ups? These grown-ups need to become children again. Anyway, so like that, I learned so many things. So Yeah, flights. I don't know. I did a lot of flights last year. But a lot of time to think. A lot of time to answer emails. So we all have a difficult life. We all have some sacrifice we have to make. But make that sacrifice with a smile and try and do some service for Krishna. Alright.
Next question, Maharaj. Before I get to that also, we've got more than 20 questions, so if it's possible, if your question has already been typed, just like a question that somebody else has sent. The next question is, how can I know if I am being arrogant or confident in my life? Moreover, can you explain simply the relationship between humility and confidence?
How to know the difference between arrogance and confidence? Arrogance means to think only I can do, no one else in the world can do. Confidence means I can do. So when we are appreciative of other people's skills, efforts, qualities, without letting ourselves down. Once somebody asked His Holiness Keshava Swami Maharaj, how much should we appreciate acharyas of other sampradayas? Because many times we hear ISKCON devotees glorifying, sometimes even they have seminars. So Maharaj gave an interesting answer. Maharaj said that we can have appreciation for others, devotees from other sampradayas, as long as our appreciation for our acharyas is not compromised. As long as our loyalty to Srila Prabhupada is not compromised, we can appreciate others. So confident means we hear the noise from outside, but at the end we make the decision and we go with the calling of our heart, what we are capable of doing. We don't let others to judge, we don't let others to define, and whatever we believe in, we pursue that. And whatever outcome that comes out, that's what we are worthy of, and we should be happy with that. That's how we define success. Whereas arrogance means we sit on high pedestal and we think only I can do, nobody else can do. As much as we expect nobody to step in our space, if we don't follow the same rule, but instead step on other people's circle, space, then I'll call that as arrogance.
Okay, no, perfect.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, you want?
Yeah, we've got a long list.
Oh,
of
you are on
questions.
this then. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
I think we have 10 minutes now, so maybe it's like time for quick fire.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I'll do it with you.
We just give short.
Okay. Question number 1. Is the free will that Krishna gave us really free will? If without Krishna's sanction, a blade of grass doesn't move?
Yes. So the question here is, if Krishna knows everything you're going to do, and Krishna controls the material world, then in what sense do we have free will? Krishna gives you free will to make a decision. You don't have free will to decide the outcome. So Krishna, he lets you make a decision. Krishna never takes that away. Without that, what would be the meaning to life? If you had no power to make a decision, you'd just be a robot. Then you wouldn't really be living. So we all have free will. Where there's a will, there's a relative. Where there's a will, there's a way. Isn't it? So we have a will, we have free will, but Krishna knows everything. and Krishna controls the outcomes, but Krishna is reciprocating with us. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam stateva vajamyaham. As they utilize their free will, I respond. So Krishna, being the all-controlling Ishvara, doesn't reduce our ability to have free will, because we can still make decisions. Alright?
Thank you, Maharaj. How do we become more tolerant and humble towards own family members as how we are to others with whom we don't spend a lot of time?
Good luck. As they say, familiarity breeds contempt. And this question was asked to His Holiness Keshava Swami Maharaj. Maharaj said, "You tolerate others as much as I tolerate you." When we take a step back and see how much devotees have tolerated us, like Maharaj, the talk today, he was mentioning that we sometimes feel very discouraged how slow the progress of our family members are, if at all there is any. Completely missing the point that we also took our own time, sweet time, to come to the point of where we are. If only we realize, just like how we use our free will, we took our own sweet time to take this journey. Everyone also have their own sweet time. And Krishna is patient, so we shouldn't push anyone beyond what they can handle or hear. So that has to be respected.
In this age of AI and data, how do we protect ourselves and our kids from hallucination, falsehood? Sometimes it may come from devotees as well. Falsehood.
Yeah, we're surrounded by a changing world, AI, isn't it? Everything is changing so quickly. So the main thing we have to make sure is that we are constantly remaining connected to the original nature. What do I mean by that? Make sure there's time in your life when you go for a walk in a park. Make sure there's time in life when you step on the earth. Make sure there's time in life when you breathe the fresh air. Make sure there's time in your life when you swim in the ocean. Be in contact with nature, because when we're in contact with nature, it's very purifying to the mind and it helps us to have clarity. But also be in contact with your original nature. What happens is that when we're connected to scripture, then it can protect us from all the lies that the world is feeding us. Many, many lies in the world that we're told. And then those lies become a truth. And then that truth becomes a culture. And then that culture becomes a tradition. And so, it's said that Kali Yuga is only resting on one leg. What is that leg? Thanks for being truthful. Yes, Kali Yuga is resting on truthfulness. But one will say, in what sense is Kali Yuga truthful? Do you trust the media? Do you trust politicians? Do you trust your mind? Do you trust the temple president? So in what sense? In what sense is Kali Yuga resting on truthfulness? Because the rhetorical question. But you can answer.
Even if we don't have the rest of the three legs, just being truthful, we can achieve perfection.
Okay, yes. That is one answer that we have given before. But specifically with regards to this, the reason why Kali Yuga is resting on truthfulness is because although there are so many lies in the world, so many lies, the one thing that's present in the world is Shastra. Satyam Padam Dhimahi Janmadyasya yatam vayat itaratas, like this. It's like, so Satya is still in society. So therefore you have to have contact with the Shastra. If you have contact with scripture, if you hear spiritual knowledge, then it will protect you from all the lies of the world. So live a natural life and connect with the original source of wisdom, scripture. Alright. I think it's literally like 1 or 2 now.
Okay, we'll have one more.
One more?
Okay. Which one's the best one? How do we become mentally strong to make the right decisions?
It's my decision to ask you. A mentally strong decision. Please, I'll add something.
Can you repeat that question? How do you make your mind mentally strong?
How to be mentally strong to make the right decision?
Srila Vishma Chakravarti Thakur says we are in the beginning stages of our Krishna consciousness. Until we come to the stage of perfection, we need to borrow the intelligence from Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. I've heard one devotee say that Prabhupada says before you make any major decision in life, you need to consult with the 3 Brahmanas. You give the due diligence time, sleep on it, and then you make the decision. So, as such, when we fall in Maya, when we are in illusion, our mind will say what we are doing is correct. Always. So when we are in illusion, we can't help ourselves. It's impossible. Because our intelligence is already corrupted there. So all of us, we need to have at least 1 or 2 devotees in life who we can trust more than even our mind. And if we invest in that relationship, then when the time comes when even we can't help ourselves, such devotees can pull ourselves out of the mess.
Yes, I think I won't add anything to that. I think it's been wonderful to be with all of you this afternoon. Actually, first let's thank Ganesham Prabhu for being here on the I forced him. Swamis can do that. So he's very humble. He didn't want to. But it's very nice like this. We are a family. We are discussing. It's not so formal. Like this, we realize spiritual knowledge is very joyful. Spiritual knowledge can bring so much illumination to our heart. So take the Gita. Take the Gita as your companion through life. Life is hard. Life is full of ups and downs. But you can make it because Krishna is your charioteer. But just like Arjuna turned to Krishna and asked questions, we have to turn to Krishna in our heart and ask questions by reading the Gita. And then, just like Arjuna became victorious, so can we. So again, thank you so much for being here this afternoon. Thank you to Prabhu and Mataji for opening their home.
Shamanand Prabhu.
Shamanand Prabhu.
Madhavi Mataji.
Madhavi Mataji.
Achyuta Keshav.
Achyuta Keshav Prabhu. Please give them Yes, and we have a gift for you as a small token of our appreciation. I was just saying the other day that all of you have really made your home into temples. This really is like a temple. And we're so grateful. You're such wonderful examples. They do Harinam, Sankirtan, they go out on the street. Achyuta Keshav went to France recently distributing books in Paris. In Paris, when you distribute books, all you keep hearing all day is, no mercy, no mercy. Nobody wants any mercy there. No thanks, no thanks, no time. So I did a marathon once in Paris. So it's not an easy place, and he spent 2 months there with Janananda Maharaj. So this is such a wonderful, this is sannyas actually. Sannyas means whatever you have, you dedicate it to Krishna. So here, the home, the family, everything they have is being utilized for Krishna. So thank you for being such exemplary devotees. We offer our obeisances to your glorious spiritual masters, Holiness Janananda Maharaj, who's a heroic figure in our movement. And we offer you some small gift. Okay, I thought that was like a saffron chutney. You know something I don't? Wishing you the best. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Okay, both good. So, Hare Krishna everyone, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, thank you for your association. Vaishnava Seva, Vaishnava Sangha, Ki Jai, Prabhupada Ki Jai, Koti Vaishnava, Vrinda Ki Jai, Gaura Premanande.
Hare Krishna. Thank you all again for taking the time to spend a whole day in the home, the ashram of Krishananda Prabhu and Madhavi Mataji's family. Like as we announced at the end of the first session, we had many devotees expressing interest to donate for our temple rebuild project. 14 families to be more precise. Let's stand one.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
And we have 5 families who have already committed to the amount. In fact, 6. One family had to leave early, so they already took the gift. I'm going to call upon the names of 5 of the families, so please do come forward as I call your name. Heman Chaitanya Group, may I get your help? Gaurav Singh family, Nirav Aparna family, Retukol family, Natasha and Sunil Arora family, Akanda Rasa Prabhu and Ujjwala Rasa Mataji family. Gaurav Prabhu. Please give a big round of applause. Nirav Aparna family. Retukol family. Natasha and Sunil Arora family, and Akanda Rasa Prabhu and Ujjwala Mataji family. Thank you, Maharaj. So the other devotees who pledged but couldn't actually stay, Shanida and Sahid family, and we have another 8 more families who have expressed interest, and they said they'll get back to us within the next couple of weeks with their commitment. Thank you, Maharaj, for giving us your generous time and patiently answering everyone's questions. I just wanted to add something which Gaurav Prabhu asked and you very humbly responded to. How, despite your busy schedule, you are able to still do so much for Srila Prabhupada's mission. I read an article where some devotees were mentioning about Maharaj's practice when he was Sutapadas Brahmachari. On the occasion of Maharaj's sannyas initiation by His Holiness Keshava Swami Maharaj. And there I remember reading Sutapadas Brahmachari, despite having such a busy schedule, many times coming late from programs, from youth programs, college programs, corporate preaching, he never misses the morning program the next day morning. So that is a great lesson we all can take. Our schedule, we can give a million reasons why not to wake up early in the morning and chant. But despite having such a busy schedule, Maharaj, till date, there's no question of jet lag. Maharaj arrived straight from Hong Kong and you see him next day morning leading Mangalarati. I was just remembering His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. They always say, if you want to know whether Maharaj is there somewhere, just look at the altar. You will see him in Mangalarati. So thank you so much, Maharaj. It's such a great privilege and honor to have you amongst us. Thank you so much for spending your valuable time. And Maharaj will be giving Srimad Bhagavatam class tomorrow morning in the temple. So that will be the final program for our temple. So please do make your way there. Even if you can't make it there, somehow, get somebody to turn on their mobile and you can hear, because we are not going to live telecast it in Mayapur TV or YouTube channel. We want you to be there to take the association. So thank you very much, and let us express our gratitude for Maharaj by raising our arms and loudly chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra 3 times. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. His Holiness Swami Bhagavan Keshava Swami Maharaj ki. His Holiness Kadam Grana Swami Maharaj ki. His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj ki. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki. Shri Radha Gopinath Bhagwan ki. Samaved Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki. Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the Asmal devotees. All glories to the Asmal devotees. All glories to the Asmal devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki.
So thank you, Maharaj, again. And also would like to thank you, our ISKCON Sydney Temple Management, for facilitating this whole seminar for the Maharaj for the first time. So we'd like also to chant Hare Krishna Mantra for our temple management team. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Without their support, we can't do anything. So thank you, Krishna Prabhu, and all the team. And thank you to all of you for coming along. What can I say? We booked this venue a month before, and just in one day we had 160 registrations. And we had some disagreements about the venue location as well, but all glories to Shaman and Prabhu and the family for accommodating almost double the numbers what this hall can take. So thank you, Prabhuji, Mataji, and Akshita Prabhu, Vrinda, and Nitai. It's been wonderful. And also we have some nice, wonderful sweets made by Madhavi Mataji, which Maharaj personally went to give every single one of you. But before we do that, would you guys take the books? So Maharaj has some books which he has written, as Ghanshyam Prabhu was mentioning. Maharaj has offered more